Hi there, here's a very detailed review of the Iberostar Grand Bavaro Punta Cana. Instead of one overall rating, I will be categorizing and rating a breakdown of our experience. For arrival and check-in, I'll be giving 5 stars. From Toronto, Canada, we connected through Montreal and arrived to Punta Cana on Christmas Day. A shuttle service got us to the resort within 20 minutes, where we were greeted with these delicious non-alcoholic pina coladas. We had arrived a couple of hours prior to the 3 p.m. check-in time and were asked to go and enjoy lunch by the beach and return in an hour, at which time our room should be ready slightly earlier than promised. While walking over to lunch, we had a beautiful scene to look at. Our rooms were ready as promised after lunch, and I was pleased to see a beautifully decorated king-size bed in a beautiful overall room. The swimming pools at the resort deserve 4 stars. Each of the pools were always clean and maintained, and I think the layout was actually pretty strategic. You could still walk through them from when going from your rooms over to the restaurants, and there were infinity pools as well in the mix. The reason I'm not giving that 5th star is that I felt the pools definitely could have been heated better. This was December, it was their winter, and so the weather itself wasn't enough to keep the pools warm, so heaters were definitely needed. Even the hot tubs were barely warm enough. And sadly, if you're looking to go for a late night swim, forget about it, because curfew for swimming pools is 7 p.m. So anything after 7, security comes by, and party by the pool is pretty much over. Only 3 stars for food buffets and restaurants. I found that although I was excited by the spread to begin with, it was the same food over and over every day for breakfast and lunches. There may have been a new item or two, and I did enjoy the exotic fruits, but overall just was really bored with the food a few days in. Dinners, however, were delicious and overall great experiences. There's a French restaurant, a Japanese restaurant, Mexican, a surf and turf, and an Italian restaurant. And most of the experiences at the dinner restaurants was actually pretty fabulous. You do need a reservation, and the greatest thing is that a butler, which I'll talk about later in customer care, is able to make the bookings for you. The ideal time is around 8 p.m. to eat dinner, so that you are done comfortably enough to be able to catch the 10 p.m. show. The menu items and the presentation of the dinners, actually I would rate pretty well, but overall a 3-star for food at the resort, just because of the breakfast and lunch options, or their lack of. I found that at this restaurant, lobster, if you're a lobster lover, is available to you pretty much for all of your meals, and I definitely took advantage of that for the first few days. But I found that too much lobster just isn't good for your digestive system. So after 3 full days of having 5 to 6 lobsters a day, I gave it a break and felt a lot better. At least it's great to know that lobster is available pretty much unlimited, and you can request to have it any way you can. This is a picture of a bread that was there at the Mexican restaurant by my chair, that was there when I arrived and was still there after I left. Pretty much found it funny. From all of the dinner options, the French restaurant was all of our favorites in terms of cuisine, food selections, and service. The Mexican restaurant was our least favorite experience, particularly because when ordering an extra free shrimp to add to our dinners, the waiter made us feel as if we just did not have the right Well, this is an all-inclusive, and considering my husband and I do not drink alcohol and have had no alcohol during the entire trip, we have the right to add shrimp or lobster or anything extra to our meals as we please. Some of the restaurants were okay with it, so we expected it from all of them. I was looking forward to the Japanese restaurant the most, but found that the language barrier, although it was everywhere, at this restaurant was the most. But when the waiter couldn't help me, I asked management to come and translate, and they were very accommodating, so it worked out in the end. We ordered room service late night one night, and also for breakfast the day we were leaving. The selection was fairly decent. 4 stars for spa services. My friends and I were able to take advantage of their spa services on a couple of occasions. She had her gel nails fixed, and we were able to do reflexology in the same room overlooking the ocean, so that was a great experience. First reflexology for her. I have had them before, and although this was not as effective as I'm used to, it was still very pleasant. We were there with another couple, and so the 4 of us went in for a relaxation massage, and I would say that it was very pleasant. And the spa decor I think could have been better, but maybe that's my standard. But inside the room, they had swans on the beds, and it was overall quite enjoyable. 4-star rating for entertainment. There's a theater, and at 10 p.m. every evening there's a show, and as we had arrived on Christmas Day, we would certainly expect a Christmas show at the end of that evening, and we certainly got one. It was very hip, I would have to say, and it was a lot of fun to watch. The songs and dancing and all the colors and decor, very, very nice, and it was a very pleasant end of our first night there at the resort. So that was the first night, and on the following night was a Michael Jackson tribute performance, which was actually performed by very talented individuals, locals I would presume, and the shows are typically about an hour long, and this one had the Michael Jackson impersonator do some solos and then some group dances. The costumes were great, so it was like pretty great to watch and expect a great show at the end of each night. One of the nights was also a circus show, and although the decor and the costumes were very basic, there really were some great talents in that cast, and if you focus on that, it was actually a very good circus show for sure. The magic show is pretty incredible. There were certainly some tricks in there that I had not ever seen, and I've been to Vegas, I've been to other magic shows, so it was nice to see some new material come out of the show at the resort. Final evening was a musical type of tribute to women, so it was fun to see. Other forms of entertainment at the resort, as a tennis, which comes with a trainer that you can book. It did cost about $25 an hour, but it was well worth it. And one of the nights we took a taxi just under 10 minutes outside the resort to the Hard Rock Hotel and Resort, Hard Rock Punta Cana, and it was just a nice change of environment for a few hours. We also did an excursion that was a dune buggy experience. I have a separate video on it if you want to see some actual footage from that, but you can see how dirty we got based on how crazy your driver is. By driver, I meant my husband, because I chose not to drive. A very important category, of course, is shopping, for which I give 5 stars. From just a few stores at the resort, I was able to buy so many things for myself and as gifts, and I was very pleased with the pricing. I picked up a number of Larimar jewelry for my mom, my daughter, a bit for myself, and some raw stones for my dad. I know now that next time I'll do far less shopping at home leading into the trip and leave some luggage space for things I would purchase there at the resort, because there were some beautiful things I would have loved to have but unfortunately was running out of space. So overall, shopping experience was great. I really just didn't feel the need to go outside the resort. So there was lots of jewelry options, even shoes and bags, and some home decor along with some trinkets, of course. Four stars for the beach there at the resort. The sand reminds me of the sand in Saint Martin, very soft, whitish. I have seen whiter sand, and it goes far deep in the water, so you're not stepping on stones. There was wait staff to bring you drinks, and even some food menus were provided for you to have snacked on the beach. The water did get a bit windy at times, but if you pick the right time of day, it's wind-free and the water temperature is very pleasant. Just ask the local staff the best time to hit the beach. 4 stars for golf. Mine is a particular incident related to golf. The golf course itself was beautiful, and as you can see, it's enormous, and all of it is right there on the resort. A very tropical feel. It's not the best in the world, and although my husband is just getting started with his golf trips, he had an overall great time golfing with his friend. The boys decided not to take their own equipment, but rather rent it there on site. Just 3 stars for customer care. Our butler Romeo was very accommodating and very pleasant to work with. He was personable, and as you can see, every time we'd run into him, he would request a selfie, which we were very excited to take, considering he has been adding to our experience. Now, without going too much in detail, the reason we only gave customer service 3 stars is because we were talked into going into a presentation for a club membership, which did not end pleasantly. It caused our husbands to miss their tea time, and it took many conversations with 4 to 6 different individuals to convince them to give them back their tea time, because missing it was not in our control. Our butler Romeo was so sweet to have drawn us a romantic bath to make up for the stressful discussions that were caused from that stupid presentation center. So there you go. Instead of an overall rating, just wanted to give a breakdown of the different categories, so that if you're watching this and considering the Iberostar Grand Bavaro Punta Cana, just remember an experience is what you make of it, and this was mine. All in all, we had a great trip, and we're happy to get away from the Toronto winter and enjoy a week here in Punta Cana. And whether we'll be back or not, we'll have to see. Safe and fun travels for you, no matter where you choose to go.